Welcome back. Now, 9 years ago, he became the first black artistic director to take over the most prestigious creative side of the Market Theatre Foundation. One of the many challenges he had to face in his tenure was the COVID-19 and the subsequent lockdown that brought an end to live events. It seems after surviving that storm, award-winning actor and director James Ngcobo is ready for a new challenge. He's in fact joined them already, the Joburg Theatres, as the newly appointed artistic director. He joins us now to reflect on his 9 years at the Market Theatre and his new job. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Live. How are you?
Thank you so much.
I need to say congratulations again. I didn't even know that you had already started on the 1st.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was just, amazing. Because on Thursday, there was a function at the market, and I went to speak at the function for Mail and Guardian. And the next morning I woke up and I went to the Joburg Theatre as the new artistic director. So I spoke at the market for the last time on Thursday. And it was a really amazing 9 years for me. You saw some of the productions that we did. A really, really exciting time, a time of growth for me. And I came at the market when the market wanted change. And I came in as an artistic director who was then given the mandate to make sure that I effect that change in the market. And I must say there was a lot of things that we did that were the first of, that had never been done before. And so after all this time, there was just a need for a new journey, a new hurdle, a new team to work with. And I'm very excited that I've just started as artistic director running, I'm going to be curating 10 venues.
Yes.
The Soweto Theatre, the Joburg Theatre and the Roodepoort Theatre. And I'm already just mulling on it and thinking as to what to do, because you look at them, they're all in 3 different pockets of the city, and the constituencies are different. So that should be really my in on the thinking of how do we program?
I was going to even ask, that was going to be my next question. Have you grasped how big this challenge that lies ahead for you in these 3 theatres and being artistic director for these theatres?
Yeah, the other day it really hit me and I was breathless, but I've always been a person who loves challenge, and for me, I think one of the biggest strengths I have as a person is I thrive so well in a collaborative space, and so I know that when you get to a space like that, you walk into a space like that with a lot of humility, with a lot of curiosity, and I'm planning to do the on-site visits to see these theatres, to see the dynamic teams that are running these spaces, work out what they've been doing for the last couple of years, who comes to see these things. Because once you've done that proper case study, you are then given the ammunition that helps you to understand how you navigate the spaces. I think one of the most naive things that sometimes we do is to walk into a space and say, oh, I'm changing. It's not that. It's about understanding. And when, it's almost like when I started at the market, I had to ask myself around the programming, I said, what are things that deserve a preservation? And what is the lack in the space? What is it that the theatre hasn't done? Because as much as and my passion, as much as this is a very passionate space, but the most important thing to think about, it's a business. It's an absolute business, and my love for mentorship of young people, I'm always getting young people, the influx of young people that are coming out of universities who are interested in being directors and actors, producers, and I always put together that cohort of young people that the future content creators. Somebody once asked me and said, James, what is this obsession you have with mentorship? And I said to this person, well, there's that little insignificant word. And they said, what's the word? I said, logical? Is it not logical that we pass the baton to the young people? And in 9 years at the market, I was able to mentor 45 young directors who won awards in the shows that they've had to do. And And I'm quite, when it comes to mentorship, people always go like this with mentorship. That's not mentorship, that's mollycoddling. Mentorship is being able at first to make young people understand how difficult life is. I think the biggest disservice we do to our young is that we create this utopian bubble. That oh, you know what I mean? No. Young people need to know at a very young age, if you equip them with that, with the fact that it is very hard, not only in this country, all over the world, it's hard. And you give them that, it becomes an exciting key or gateway for them to step onto things. And once I see the ones that are very receptive to that very cold and real stuff to deal with, you take them and you work with young people. And I always say that I am a type of a mentor that has the humility that tells me that I have so much to learn from the mentee. Because I sit in a room with a young person and you suddenly are aware that they're thinking of, you know, when it comes to a certain subjects or something, it's just different, and that excites me. You know, so I am not going to the Joburg Theatres to reinvent another James. It is the continuum of me, of my passion, of a very clear understanding that we have to program for everybody in this country. And that's the thing I've always said. For me, theatre is not black or white. Theatre is good or bad. That's my mantra. And so the idea that you program for all sorts of constituencies also speaks to a business acumen, because it means you're blowing up your audiences, you're getting more people to come to the theatre, the content is diverse, and so that is really what I'm excited. And I've already started meeting some of the team members, and I started on Friday working, but then I started rehearsals because I'm directing the 60-year celebration of the anniversary of the theatre, and I've been looking at amazing people who over the years, and I've found pictures of, you know, a young Brayu when he was there when they opened the theatre, you know, and it's just been so amazing how many people have worked in that space. And for me, that night of the 16th will be, my job is to take my hat off to the most amazing people that were there to sow the seed of, and now it's the time for the Joburg Theatres to replenish the breath, and then we see what else do we do, what kind of bravery do we put out there.
One of the challenges that you faced at the Market Theatre was, you know, lockdown, you know, and where you were forced to, you know, rethink of ways to get back audiences because, you know, 2 years of lockdown, no audiences allowed, no live events. How do you think you overcame that? And what was the first thought when you thought, okay, where to from here?
Well, I'll tell you, our president made that announcement to close the country. 2 days later, the market was the first. I just said to the team, we're not going to wallow in a problem. We 2 days later, we articulated a program that is going out there, and I worked on a thing called Theatre Will Rise Again. Which was a huge campaign that we got to do, and I found 14 actresses. I directed some of them, the extracts from Shakespeare's plays, and the stuff went out there. But then I just thought, as everybody is busy showing or showcasing the works that they've done before, and I thought, how do you stand out in a space that is saturated? I use that space to commission new work. Some of the new things that were written was even, there's an amazing young writer called Rorisang Motuka. She wrote a piece for us called Diaparo Tsa Mama. She is absolutely amazing. And I got all those young writers, and they wrote works, and by the time we hit level 4, I sat with the board, we opened the theatre, and we were, for a long time, the only theatre open, and churning productions, people were coming. So to answer your question, it was, for me, there's never been, with all the difficulty and a bleak time that it was, but there's never been a time where an idea of leadership was questioned, like during the calamity of the pandemic, in all spheres of life.
Yeah.
Where actually true leadership stood out was around people who never thought we close or you sort of back off in a corner. Is there's a huge hurdle? Do you get around it or over it? And that for me is the most beautiful excitement that came out of the time. I remember even sitting with the CFO at that time, and we've got the allocation that goes to the production, and I said, artists need us more than any other time. We can't be closed, so we take this allocation, we commission people to design, to do, and to pay people, to keep people at work, because one has the humility that tells us that we run these spaces that are in operation because of taxpayers' monies, and we need to be responsible managers and have a clear business logic, and at times when you are dealing with such a huge problem, how do you keep the sector alive? That for me were things that it was an amazing way of just shifting gear from constantly thinking creatively and thinking about productions to just keep the creative thinking, because it can't live one, but also have a sense of how do we help, because it's all too well to cry and say the government will do that, but if you're in a position when you can do something, do something. You know, and I'm of that belief that we all have to be responsible and in spaces that we're at. So it was difficult, but it was exciting, and the things that we commissioned when we finally really could have audiences, we had the works ready that we just then moved into the theatre.
All right, so before I let you go, I need to quickly ask you this. Who do you think is the best person to replace you? Theatre needs theatre. A theatre person.
It would be a theatre person. And there's a lot of amazing people that will step into that space and steer the theatre in another direction. Just like I've been given the mandate by the Joburg Theatres, where the board and the management said, come here, James, let's see what you can do. We're here to support you. Dream. All
right, James, good luck. Thank you so much for your 9 years at Market Theatre. Thank you so much for talking to us. Outgoing, well, he's already done. He started at the Joburg Theatres. We keep saying outgoing. He's already gone. He was artistic director at Market Theatre. James Ngcobo, reflecting on his last 9 years at the institution. The award-winning director has joined Joburg Theatres as the newly appointed artistic director. All right, quick ad break.